Hiya. Kaya Kwaba Kiri Janang Nunda Mangamang Yuranga Wadandi Buja. Hello, good to see you all together on Wadandi country. Nalak Karich Wadandi Jungyang Jali, the traditional owner Wadandi Buja. We acknowledge the Wadandi people of this country and I pay my respects to elders past and present. I declare this meeting open at 5:31. Councillors, the first item on the agenda is our attendance. We have apologies from Director Mr Nick Byrne and Manager Legal and Governance Mr Ian McLeod. Item 2.2 is approved leave of absence. Do we have any? We do not have any approved leave of absence. Item 3 is disclosures of interest. Councillors, are there any disclosures of interest for anything on the agenda this evening? No, you also have the opportunity prior to us considering the item to make that disclosure of interest. Item 4 is public questions. So first up we have 4.1 response to previous public questions taken on notice, Scott Baxter. And we have that published there under 4.1.1. And so I will now I'll now move to 4.2, which is public question time. Councillors, we do have a pre-received public question from Mr Richard Moroney, and due to exceptional circumstances, as a presiding member, I will read the following 2 questions on behalf of Mr Richard Moroney. First question is, as at the date of this question, has the Shire formally considered any alternative management of regulatory options to enforcement only in response to illegal camping, including the regulated pathways available under Regulation 11A and Regulation 12.2 of the Caravan Parks and Camping Grounds Regulations 1997 WA? If so, when was that consideration undertaken and what was the outcome? And question 2 is, during the preceding 3 financial years, has the Shire collected or maintained any data linking illegal camping enforcement activity, including staff time and enforcement costs, to infringement recovery outcomes? And if so, has that data been used to assess the effectiveness of enforcement as the primary response? Now, as these were sent prior to the meeting, one of our staff members, Acting Director of Sustainable Economy and Communities, Katie Taylor, has a response prepared, which she'll now read out.
Thanks for the questions through the Chair. In response to the first question, yes, the Shire has considered alternatives to enforcement-only responses. Since the August 2024 amendments of the Caravan Parks and Camping Grounds Regulations, we apply regulated approval pathways on a case-by-case basis, such as allowing single caravans during home construction or tiny homes on wheels where planning approval exists. These approvals help support families facing changing economic circumstances, renters who cannot afford both rent and building costs, and multi-generational living arrangements. However, whilst these changes to Regulations 11A and 12.2 go some way to address the current housing crisis, they don't directly relate to the issue of illegal camping on Shire reserves. Proposals involving multiple caravans may require ministerial approval. The Shire does not currently have the resourcing to monitor compliance for dispersed or informal camping. Risks such as fire safety, sanitation, amenity impacts, antisocial behaviour, neighbour complaints, evacuation challenges and waste management also limit broader use of these options. Beyond regulatory pathways, we're currently investigating other management options. However, each comes with significant cost and no guarantee of resolving this complex problem, so we are approaching this carefully. The Shire is implementing a 3-year roadmap developed with community input. This includes education and awareness campaigns, increased signage, partnership approaches, changes to ranger patrol routes, and investigation of overflow camping facilities to provide affordable short-term options during peak periods. We are also exploring technology solutions, timed parking at popular attractions, and currently have community consultation open to consider closing vehicle access to Barrett Street Weir during peak season. A report will be presented to Council regarding a range of management options, likely in the second half of 2026 for budget consideration. Enforcement remains necessary where camping occurs outside permitted pathways, but it is only one part of a broader management approach. And in response to question 2, the Shire does maintain data on illegal camping infringements and associated administrative time. Over the past 3 financial years, a total of 1,516 illegal camping infringements have been issued. Of these, 56.5% have been paid, 17.3% resulted in warnings, 14.6% required escalation, with an overall resolution rate of 95.5%. So that excludes 4.5 cases still in process. This demonstrates strong case management outcomes. In terms of staff resources, the average processing time per infringement is 64 minutes, covering all steps from issue to resolution. The total allocation equates to 0.256 FTE, or approximately 25.6% of one full-time position. While this data is useful for monitoring enforcement activity, it represents only one component of the Shire's broader management approach. Enforcement helps counter the idea that illegal camping is allowed, but it isn't the only solution. The Shire is implementing a 3-year roadmap developed with community input, which includes education, signage, partnership approaches, and investigation of alternative camping options, such as overflow facilities. This roadmap is supported by initiatives like the Peak Season Hub, which will be launched in January. This online tool will be accessible from the Shire's website and will provide updates from rangers, opportunities for community feedback, and transparent reporting on trial actions and outcomes. The Shire acknowledges that illegal camping is a complex issue influenced by visitor demand, seasonal workforce needs, and homelessness. Solutions require a portfolio of actions, including enforcement, community engagement, and infrastructure planning to balance public safety, amenity, and compassion.
Thank you, Ms Taylor. Sorry, can you just confirm, I thought I heard you say 95.5% of fines were paid. Is that correct?
No, sorry, that was 56.5.
Yeah, but that's while it's within our control, is that right? Sorry, just to, just because after 28 days, my understanding is that the fines enforcement WA take on the follow-up of the payment of fines, don't they?
Yeah, so the overall resolution rate is 95.
Yeah, sorry, that was the figure. Overall resolution is 95.5.
The resolution doesn't just mean that they've paid, they've come to a resolution, so some may be revoked. And,
that's great, thank you. That's really good information for the community because, to understand that follow-up is there. Great. We also had some other questions submitted in advance from Mr Tim Moore. Are you here, Tim? Ah, there you are. Please come to the podium, if you don't mind, Tim, pressing the button on the right-hand side to put the mic on. And, if you could read your question out, please. Thanks.
Hello. Thank you, councillors. I think you do a great job, often difficult and often not with a lot of thanks, but I think the majority of people thank you quietly, even if they don't speak it out loud. My question starts with a statement. The Water Corporation are proposing to construct an industrial scale development in an existing residential community, i.e. the Truditch Place in Spindrift, Narrabah. Is the Shire of Augusta Margaret River able to assist the concerned ratepayers, 26 so far, in preventing this development in its current proposed location and having the Water Corporation assess other better locations that will not impact existing communities to such an unacceptable extent, and what form would that assistance take?
Thank you, Mr. Moore, for your question. I'm going to request Director Logan to answer that one. Thank you.
Through the chair, yes, the Shire is able to assist by means of ensuring that ratepayers' views that we're aware of are expressed to the Water Corporation in any discussions which we might have with that agency.
Great. We understand they have very strong statutory powers, which override a lot of other powers, but we believe that they are still bound by common law, and that being in the tort of duty of care. And that's probably the area we'll need to pursue. So I'm wondering if possibly the Shire may be able to, I mean, the ratepayers are planning to set up a fund for legal advice, but it's an area that certainly I'm not experienced in.
Sorry, Mr. Moore, I really don't want to cut you off, but yeah, I've just, this really is a time for questioning, but we can, perhaps I suggest that you follow up on that question if you're not satisfied with that, with an email to council, and we can further investigate the role that we can play as a Shire. We have a role. We're not a regulatory body and a decision maker in regards to this, but we certainly do our best to represent the community. So I would suggest you follow up with an email if that's okay. Just to stick to our standing orders. A reminder that question time is a time for questions and not statements. But thank you, Mr. Moore. Thanks very much for your question. Thanks. Okay, we also, do I have Helen Bradbury in the crowd? Yes, thank you. If you could please. Hi. Sorry, if you don't mind just stating your name and address, please, before you start. Thanks.
My name's Helen Bradbury. I live at 229 Horsford Road in Burnside. My question relates to the item 11.2.2, Coastal Infrastructure Rifle Butts to Gas Bay Concept Plan. Do you want me to read the three questions? I actually have a fourth question for this time.
Yeah, I will.
Or do I do one at a time?
I'd prefer you actually to read them all, and then I'll see if we can answer them.
Yep.
Thank you, Helen.
Okay, thank you. The first question is, why was the concept of beach access, as described on page 28 in the section Mitchell Drive car parking and beach access, not included in the original documents presented to the community to comment on during the consultation period? And as you know, that consultation closed some time ago in November 2024. The second question is, will the community have an opportunity to provide comment on this beach access plan to remove vital coastal fore-dune vegetation for the perceived need of an additional emergency jet ski boat launch point, which would appear to have arisen because of issues with the existing boat ramp not having been addressed? The third question is, will the community be consulted on this matter prior to the commencement of any clearing of coastal fore-dune vegetation for emergency vehicle beach access? And my not presented previously question is, when community consultation has formed part of a proposal, is it acceptable practice to include new concepts and ideas in proposals to the council without reference to them not having been part of the public consultation process?
Thank you, Ms Bradbury. I'd like to try and answer these questions as best we can as we're considering this item tonight. So I'm going to ask Mr Logan, please, to respond to those questions. Thanks.
For sure. Through the chair, I'll probably answer those questions collectively in the short term, bearing in mind that there's an outstanding council decision that's to be made, and then respond more fully by taking those questions on notice once we're aware of the outcome of the council decision, because they're relevant to some of the next steps that are queries in the questions. The primary one was the potential secondary or emergency access points subject to the initial consultation process, and if not, why not? And what I would say to that is it wasn't part of the original consultation process, and that has occurred because the opportunity to consider the proposal became clear after the consultation process had commenced. And it is an issue that's relevant to the study area and the coastal infrastructure being considered. Some targeted consultation was undertaken with the Margaret River Volunteer Sea Rescue, and it's now an issue, I guess, for the council to determine whether further consultation may be required or whether to progress that option.
Okay, thanks, Ms Bradley. Those answers will be in full in the minutes. Are there any other further questions of council? Yes, thank you, Mr Englert. If you could come to the microphone, please, and ask your question. Yes, name and address, of course. Could you just press the right-hand button on that? Yep.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Ian Englert, Gracetown, or Augusta, whatever you'd like to use, you'll find me. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. You do a damned hard job. So anyway, all councillors should be aware that through results, hang on, I've got to put these on. The results of many surveys that have been done over years by government departments, that around 90% of all the people who come to our Shire come here for something to do with the water. Surfing, swimming, fishing, boating, sailing, or just to view our beautiful coastline. You've got to add on to that now the many people, many people who are buying the many blocks of land that the Shire insists on allowing to be developed. For example, in Cowarrup, Carradale, Cadartup, Hamlin Bay. It is no wonder that parking is becoming one of the biggest problems the Shire has got today, and it is only going to get worse. So to my question, why does the council staff and councillors insist on closing off valuable parking spaces and parking areas at least 2 of the Shire's most beautiful and popular beach areas without what appears to be due concern how to do it, or how they do it, especially taking into account safety, which is really what I'm about, and without full and proper consultation with the people who live in the areas I refer to, and before all councillors are able to visit these areas to inspect and understand fully the repercussions of the important decisions they are about to make. And before you reply to my question, I would ask you with the utmost respect, please don't give me a Kamala Harris fruit salad load of bureaucratic gobbledygook answer, or mention the word or the worldwide problem of illegal camping, something you are never, ever going to stop. And closing off everything just sends people elsewhere, and you know that as well as I do. I'm happy to elaborate further if you would like me to, but I'll leave that up to you. Thanks for at least listening.
Thank you, Mr Englert. And can I'm just going to be a little bit cheeky, and just in regards to your comment around development and allowing the Shire allowing the area to be developed, our role is not to either encourage or initiate or to promote development. It is to have input as to how it looks. The state government is the authority that approves subdivision, and structure plans, and we're seeing more and more the state government overriding local government's ability.
that.
So yeah, just wanted to clarify that for
No,
accuracy.
I understand that, Julia, but
Okay.
yeah.
So we are not, the developers. It's the developers and the state government are the ones that develop the Shire.
I'm merely pointing out the amount of people that are coming to our area to live that's putting pressure on going to the beaches. Whereabouts are all the people in Quarramump going to swim? Gracetown.
Yes.
Where are they going to park?
Yeah. So this is a good question, and it's something that is, on top of mind.
I knew you'd love
to
it.
council. So I would like it to get a thorough response in the form of the minutes, as opposed to off the seat of my pants right now. But it is, thank you for your question. It is something that we do consider in our decision making around allowing access, restricting access, controlling parking access for the amenity purposes, for environmental purposes, for all the reasons. So we'll answer that thoroughly in the
I don't
minutes.
expect you to answer the question tonight, really. It's
Thank you. But there is maybe one question or a comment from Councillor Darth.
Can I just clarify the areas you're talking about? Are you talking about Gracetown and the Weir, or are you talking about the concept plan?
Look, I've started off with Gracetown because I've lived there for 45 years non-stop, and I used to be a ranger there, believe it or not, back in 1980 when I was half the age that I am now. But the other place that I'm talking about is Ringbolt Bay in Augusta, and at this point in time, that could be a disaster. It's a disaster waiting to happen because you can only go in one very, very steep dirt track, and when the car park down the bottom gets full, you can't get back out again. What happens if somebody's had a heart attack down there? What happens if somebody's drowning down there?
Yep.
You've got to leave the old out track in and make that a dual-use track just the same as you've done at Dead Finish, and the problem would be solved. Or make the upper granite area there that you've taken away, that was where people used to park, and there was no bush, no dig. You've closed it off.
Yeah, sorry, I'll just cut you off there. That has been through a very lengthy process in the form of a healthy country plan that looked at the environmental and cultural values of that area, and it went through a really very high consultative process to get to where we are. But this is not an opportunity for you to respond to me now, but we will answer your question in regards to Ringbolt Bay and Dead Finish. We can do that. In regards
Dead Finish
to
is
parking.
okay. It's Ringbolt Bay and Gracetown, and I think you and the CEO know.
We can answer that in the minutes. Thank you, Mr. Englert.
Thank you for having me.
Are there any other public questions? Just questions, please, members of the public. Thank you. Mr. Baxter, if you could come up and state your name and address.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Scott Baxter, 274 Dennis Road, Scott River. I've got two questions. My first question is, I raised part of this at the November council meeting, but I didn't receive a clear answer. Since then, I formally asked staff for my deputation on the 26th of November, the ordinary council meeting, to be minuted for the official record. But I've been advised via return email that the Shire does not record deputation content because it's not required, and that an audio recording is available online. Given that deputations are a formal mechanism for the community to address council on agenda items, will council commit to introducing a searchable public record of deputations on major strategic matters, similar to that in principle of like a searchable Hansard record like they do in Parliament, State Parliament and Federal Parliament, so that the community can readily see what was put before the council at the time that major decisions were made, for transparency and for historical purposes. I note that when reviewing older Shire records that I can see instances where statements, speeches and deputations were actually attached to the minutes of some meetings. So given that that's been done before, can council please explain why it can't be done now, and whether or not council will potentially reinstate that practice for significant matters?
Thank you, Mr. Baxter. I will say that we'll take that on notice so it can have a thorough response, but my initial answer to that would be that the council conducts its business in line with legislation, so the legislative requirements, and then anything on top of that is a resource, consideration. But I will get that answered in full and be published in the next set of minutes.
Yeah, thank you. It was
Thank you.
There was a simple request through the week to have my deputation from the last meeting attached to the minutes in reference to what was on the agenda, and it was just a no, we don't do that. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to look for a bit more clarification on that
Yeah,
tonight.
sure. We can look into that and provide that answer in fullness as to why that didn't occur and what's possible or not. Thank you.
Thank you. And question 2, with the state government's draft renewable energy planning code now out for consultation, can the Shire confirm on the public record what input, if any, Synergy or any other wind farm proponent or any industry representative has had in shaping the Shire's draft renewable energy facilities policy? Specifically, have there been any briefings, meetings, workshops, emails or draft wording to provide to staff or councillors in relation to the Shire developing its renewable energy policy? Secondly, does the Shire accept that neighbouring properties and the public roads can be used as de facto buffers for industrial scale wind facilities? Or does the Shire agree that the impacts should be contained within the project footprint? And finally, will the Shire make it explicit that neighbour agreements and curtailments are not acceptable substitutes for proper setbacks in its policy, yes or no?
Thank you for that question also, Mr Baxter. Given that that policy is currently out for consultation, there's no possible way I can answer any of those, but those questions will be answered as they can be from the officers within the minutes. So thank you.
Yeah, I understand it's a moving target at the moment with state and your policy and just trying to get things shaped up where they need to be so we can all make an informed decision. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Are there any other members of the public? Yes. Mr Owen, please state your name and address.
My name is Cliff Owen, and in this rather daunting situation, I'm feeling a little intimidated. I've got some words written down here, but basically what I would like to know is, with the petitions that you've recently received regarding the Scott River, who will be reading them, who will assess them, and will the people that will be representing us at the JDAP, are they members of what was originally the Green Council of Energy? Now, just by way of where I'm coming from, originally when this green energy thing kicked off, I think I chipped in $50 to start it. I thought it was a hell of a good idea. Now I'm concerned that we're being hijacked by the energy companies, and I would like to know if the people who are representing us are going to go forward and represent the whole Shire, not just the Green Energy Group.
Sorry, can I just clarify, Mr Owen, are you talking about the Green Energy Group? Are you talking about Augusta Margaret
Well, what they used
Community
to call
Clean
themselves,
Energy?
the Augusta Margaret River Clean Community Energy Incorporated.
All right. Yep. Okay. And are you able to provide your question in writing to us so we can capture everything that you've asked? Is that all right? Sorry, could we have your question provided so we can take it on notice and answer it in full, please? Yeah, is that? Sure. Yeah, if you just, we can take it. I think that's best to be taken on notice, and we will answer that in the minutes. And
Before or after you've been to the meeting?
What meeting are you talking about?
The one where you've got to get the representatives to the JD, whatever that was called.
It will be published in the minutes, which will be within January. That meeting will not be occurring before January, so you'll get that information in due course before the meeting of the RDAP to consider the wind farm. Sorry, this isn't an opportunity for a discussion. We can't have a discussion now, sure. Mr Owen, but you've asked your question. We will answer it in the minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public questions? Oh, sorry, Councillor Boland, did you have a question or?
The question is, could I answer the question about whether I, as a DAP member, was a member of the...
Can you speak close to the mic, please?
I'm doing... Could I answer that question about whether I have
If
ever
you-
been a member of
Yep.
that group? Because
Sure, if you
the
wish to
answer-
clarify that now, councillor Boland, if you could briefly do that, that would be great, in a loud voice, thank you.
Yes, the answer is I've never been a member of that group, and there seems to be quite a deal of misinformation out in the public arena about that, so I'll take this opportunity to clarify that. Has been said by a number of people, and I'm not a member, and I've never been a member of that group.
Okay, the next,
I believe it's an incorporated association, and I've never joined that association, and I've never had...
All I ask is that people that do go, if they have that interest, they declare it at the meeting.
Well, I don't have an interest to declare because this is
okay.
the misinformation that is in
This
the
is not a
community. So I'm just
conversation.
taking that opportunity to clarify that I'm not and never have been a member of that group, and I'd hope that people would not keep saying that. Thank you.
Mr Owen, I will personally get in contact with you and have a conversation outside of this chamber about that exact item to clarify some information for you, okay? Ms Pinnock, would you like to ask a question? Name and address, please.
Emma Pinnock, 29 Turner Street, Augusta. Turbine question. Re the wind farm proposals, submissions that you'll be getting with the Shire, who are the experts in the various fields that will help go through the submissions with the Shire? And if in-house, what qualifications do they have to go through those submissions, or do you outsource?
Thank you. That will be taken on notice for a full and thorough response to be published in the minutes. Thank you. Okay, is there another question? Thank you. And then we'll have to wrap up this session because we're now getting towards the time limit for public question time. Thanks, folks. Name and address, please.
Len Marie York, 3 Firestone Way, Augusta. How many councillors and staff have been to the Scott River Wind Farm proposed site and had a tour?
I'm not sure, but we're planning a site visit there in January.
Thank you.
Okay, let's wrap up public question time, councillors, and we'll now move into 5 applications for leave of absence. I believe there is one.
I'd like to make an application for leave for the next meeting for January 28th, please.
Okay, so we have a motion there that Councillor Muir be granted leave for the OCM on the 28th of January. Do I have a seconder of that, please, Councillor Bell? Let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. All right. Any other applications for leave of absence? No? All right, we will move into item 6, and that is confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting. And I have a motion here that council confirms the minutes of the OCM held on the 26th of November 25. Do I have a councillor to move that motion? Councillor Forte, and a seconder. Councillor Boland. Let's put that to the vote, folks. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We now are on to item 7, deputations, and 7.1 is Genevieve O'Connor, and a deputation on 11.3.3, proposal for polo crossfields on reserve 18838. Thank you, Genevieve. If you could state your name and address, thanks.
Genevieve O'Connor, 174 Railway Terrace, Margaret River. Do I just start? Yes. Okay, great. Sorry, I haven't done one of these before. Hello, councillors and Shire staff members. My name is Genevieve O'Connor, and I'm representing the Margaret River Polo Cross Club tonight in regards to our proposal of new fields on reserve 18838. I'm in support of the officer's recommendation and not proposing anything different, but would like to give some background to our proposal, and this won't take long. Margaret River Polo Cross Club formed in 1950 and is the oldest polo cross club in Western Australia. By sporting club standards, we are small. We're a small club of only 100 very passionate members, but we all have very deep roots in Margaret River. We've produced arguably some of Australia's best polo cross players, representing Australia at an international level, and certainly some of Western Australia's best players, regularly representing WA at interstate events. At our current fields, we host 2 carnivals a year with anywhere between 11 and 21 teams. That's up to 100 players, and with them comes about 250 spectators. Polo crossing Margaret River has an economic benefit to the Margaret River community. Estimates have determined that players will spend $580 per day in the local community. Short term, we'd like to develop a level of facility to match our own in Witchcliffe, which essentially comprises unirrigated fields, a shed for a clubhouse and storage, and also to capture rainwater for rainwater tanks to create a water supply and horse yards. Longer term, and in collaboration with the Margaret River Horse and Pony Club, we'd like to investigate a higher level of facility to host larger events, and that would of course be in collaboration with the Shire as well. We think that there is a community benefit of more public open space close to town as well. Our fields could be multifunctional and could be used for agricultural shows and other complementary events. As we will be losing our grounds in the future, it makes sense for us to co-locate with the Margaret River Horse and Pony Club, hence why we are looking at this reserve, and we also don't really have any other options at the moment. We understand that this is a large-scale development for a smaller recreational club. We are not expecting any financial contributions from the Shire and intending to apply for state and federal grants to develop the grounds. In closing, I'd like to urge the councillors to vote in favour of granting our lease application. Thank you for your time and consideration on this matter.
Thank you very much. I might just want to stay there for a minute. In the event there may be some questions. Are there any questions, councillors? Here. No,
Judy.
there doesn't appear to be. Thank you
Great.
very much for your deputation.
Thanks very much.
Item 8, councillors' petitions. Don't think anyone's received any that I know of. No. Announcements from myself. I guess over the past few weeks, and thank you to other council members, have had the opportunity and privilege of attending a number of end-of-year community celebrations across the Shire. Events like the Christmas carols, school graduations, the Lewin Biddy celebration, and the street party taking place tomorrow are important moments of connection in our Shire. They remind us how much these shared spaces and experiences matter in bringing our community together. The Lewin Biddy celebration was also a reminder that how we move through and enjoy our landscape matters. It reflects a shared commitment to respecting country and protecting the natural environment. I also recently participated in the local government homelessness knowledge training panel. It was a really valuable opportunity to listen, learn and continue the broader conversations about how local government can support some of the most vulnerable members of our community. On the weekend I attended the first in our Shire, a peace pole ceremony held at the Uniting Church on Sunday, with many members from our community supporting that. It was a quiet and powerful moment of reflection. Our thoughts are with the communities affected by the tragic events of the past weekend. Acts of violence have no place in Australia, and moments like this remind us of the importance of peace, understanding and looking out for one another. As we head into a busy festive period, I encourage everyone to help keep our community safe by being kind, patient and considerate, whether you're on the roads, in our town centres or enjoying time at local events. Let's all slow down and look out for one another. We'll now, councillors, go to item 10, of which is questions from members, of which due notice has been given and there are none. So we'll now move into the officers and committee reports. And the first one for consideration this evening is the Local Biodiversity Strategy, item 11.2.1. Do I have a councillor to move a motion? Councillor Muir, the officer's recommendation, is it?
Yes, as written, please. Thank
Okay,
you.
and a seconder? Councillor Boland. Councillor Muir.
Yeah, I'm delighted to see this strategy coming to fruition, and I'd really like to thank the staff. Some of them are here today. They've worked tirelessly at this. The amount of community consultation has been fantastic to see. I think our natural environment and our biodiversity is the reason many people come to visit this place, and it underpins our livelihood and our whole lifestyle. So it's fantastic to have a strategy that sets the pathway forward, serve this for future generations. And I guess it also considers how Wurundjeri people have cared for this place for millennia and enables us to listen and follow forth on that pathway. I really hope that Council can support this into the future at our 2 yearly updates and resource it effectively to ensure that all of the aims and outcomes are achieved in that time. But thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Muir. Councillor Boland?
Yes, just comments along the same line. It's a very comprehensive document. It's had a long process of working up by the administration and then consultation with the community. And it's got a lot of very useful information in it, which is going to guide us into the future. And yes, mainly a commendation to the administration who've done a massive amount of work on it. And it's a document I think we can be proud of and make considerable use of. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Boland. Any other one wish to speak for or against? Councillor Keno.
Yeah, just obviously, Councillor Muir, total agreement with everything that you say there. Perhaps there's one line in this whole document that really stood out for me, and that is the Shire of Augusta Margaret River as a potential diversity refuge. I drive to Perth regularly, and when I get back here, I think we are that already, and we should be really looking after it. So I just, when you go up there and you see there's not much between here and Perth, and when you get back here, it's like, So I feel like we're there already, and I think this is a great step forward to ensuring that we can continue with that. So, yeah.
Thanks, Councillor Keno. Any other councillor wish to speak for or against this item? Oh, I'll conclude and say thank you for the administration for working through this process so consultatively with the community. It's really great to see that feedback from the community, and really what's presented to us is a strategy that is for the greater good of our biodiversity within our shire. Actually the motion, I really like the 4 parts in that it's not just a strategy that's going to sit on a desk. It will be tied to actions that will be budgeted, and certainly I think the provision of the Shire's Biodiversity Fund reserve to fund some of these specific actions is a very good way to move forward. And additionally, I think the biennial, the 2 yearly update, ensures that we're keeping in touch with whether there be extra risks that are, that come up, or just to see how we're tracking in terms of measuring our biodiversity. So really pleased to see this being passed through Council this evening. Let's put it to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. We now move on to, councillors, onto item 11.2.2. And this is the Coastal Infrastructure Rifle Butts to Gas Bay Concept Plan. Do I have a councillor to move a motion? Councillor Muir, is that the officer's recommendation?
It's the officer's recommendation, and I'd like to foreshadow an amendment, please.
All right, we might just get this on the table, get a seconder for this motion if there is one. Councillor Winter, all right, and Councillor Muir wishes to propose an amendment to this motion.
Yes,
so you wish to move this amendment now? Is that correct?
Yes,
yep.
I would like to. Yeah,
all
test
right.
the amendment, please. So I would like to test the amendment that we adopt the contents of the Rifle Butts to Gaspé concept plan as shown in attachment 1, subject to the removal of the proposed beach launch access point, and consider in full, sorry, I have the words, excuse me a second.
That's okay.
And add an additional point, request the CEO to investigate options for improved service at the Narrabut boat ramp. Okay, so we've got an amendment there. Do I have a seconder for that amendment, councillors? Councillor Forte.
All right, Councillor Muir, do you wish to speak to this amendment?
Thank you. I think the whole rifle butts to Gas Bay concept plan, in the key elements that we've been looking at is the pathway, a number of concept plans about the walkway have gone through several rounds of consultation, and I think it's been really important that the community have put forward their views. It's had a number of different drawings, plans put forward. And also we want to ensure that funding is secured for that as soon as possible, along with parking. However, the issue of emergency access is certainly important and it needs to be considered in full. And I really think we need to take that out of this concept plan and look at it separately. Any problem needs to be analysed, looked at what are potential solutions, what are the costs of those solutions, and what is the most effective. And I think a better way to do it is take the element of emergency access out and look at that in full and in detail and progress with the concept plan as it was originally presented to the community and ensure that we get funding for that.
Thank you, Councillor Muir. Councillor Forte, do you wish to speak to that amendment?
Councillor Muir summed it up. There's a lot of good work in the concept plan. It would be a shame to roadblock that for the sake of one small component at this point. So, and the beach access feels like it needs more consideration at this point. That's all.
Thank you, Councillor Forte. Do I have a councillor to speak against this amendment or for this amendment? Councillor Darth.
I'm guessing this is not a time you can put up a procedural motion for a deferral because debate's already been entered.
A procedural motion for a deferral can be put up at any time.
Yeah, I would like
so it's up to you to determine if that time's now or
yeah, I would like to defer this concept until the 28th of the January ordinary council meeting. The reason is to allow the further public consultation and workshop to be held between members of council and Shire staff.
Okay, so can I ask, all right, just to clarify that your procedural motion is to defer this to come back for a decision on the 28th of January to allow for further public consultation and for a workshop to be held between members of council and staff. So just to clarify, that public consultation will be, is that a suggestion that that'll happen between now and the 28th of January? Okay, right. Okay, now there's no debate on this, councillors. This is a procedural motion. So do I have a seconder for this procedural motion? Councillor Bell. All right, we're now going to put this procedural motion for deferral of this item for January to the vote. So all those in favour? All right, that is lost. So we now go back to the amendment. Councillor Muir spoke, Councillor Forte spoke. Any other councillor wish to speak for or against this amendment? Councillor Darth.
If I want to put up a other amendment, would that have to be, can it be tested with this? Because
no, we'll have to deal with this amendment as we are now. So we'll deal with this. You can foreshadow another amendment after we have got to a conclusion of this one. As in, you can say what your foreshadowed amendment will be now, but you can't talk to it.
But I can state it now so that people know that.
Just let me clarify governance.
Thank you.
Yes, so Councillor Darth, you can just say what your foreshadowed amendment is without any extra information at this stage, and then we will go back to dealing with this amendment and enter debate. Does that make sense?
Yes, I just have to figure out how to speak about it without speaking to that amendment.
Yeah, that's right. You can't, all you can do is say the words, you can't actually speak to it or anything other than telling council what the words of your foreshadowed amendment will be. So you can,
I think that's important to do it at this point. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have those words there?
So request the CEO further investigate potential beach access for emergency services and bring a report back to council by April OCM.
Okay. All right, we'll go back to this amendment that we're dealing with in mind that Councillor Darth has foreshadowed that amendment, depending on what happens with this one, or in addition to this one. Actually, it's substantially different, so it would be...
That would just be 0.3.
Okay. Do we have that? Can we just clarify? Is that a question, Councillor Muir?
Sorry, just for clarification of your foreshadowed amendment, is it just investigating emergency access, or was it emergency access at Mitchell Drive?
Do you have those?
Well, yes, it's at Mitchell. Well, along the bay. So emergency access point, and investigate that and bring a report back to council.
Okay.
Including the boat ramp stuff, but not just the boat ramp. Yeah.
All right, councillors, we'll just go back to the debate within this amendment that we're looking at in front of the screen here. Councillor Muir and Councillor Forte seconded it to the 2 points. Do I have a councillor to speak against or for this amendment? Councillor Boland?
Yes, I'm happy to speak for the amendment.
Okay.
I think it's a reasonable approach to where we're at with this, which is that we've got a very extensive plan that's been worked up over a long period of time with a lot of public consultation and community agreement, apart from one point, which is quite severable from the rest. It's a big project. It's got a big ticket price. Probably will opt for the 1.53 million price tag. So it's substantial, and there's funding opportunities that we need to, I think, grasp as soon as possible, although that's apparently available from the discussion we had earlier on, available if we were to proceed in January. But I think we really have something that's fully formed apart from that one contentious aspect. So I think we can proceed with it on that basis.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. Do I have any other councillors who wish to speak for or against this amendment? I will speak to this amendment. Look, I agree with this. I think, as we heard from our director before, the idea of including that beach emergency access aspect of this plan came after the consultation process. So it is whilst an important, potentially an important facility, in no doubt, that aspect for emergency services, it I feel needs a bit more rigour around the process to put it in this plan, or to have a plan around what we consider. So I do support this. I think we need to, just keeping in mind, councillors, it is a concept plan and there's a lot of work to be done yet, detailed design, etc. So I feel that if we go through this process of asking the CEO to look at the options for improved service at the Narrabut boat ramp, it will likely inform a future decision of us as to whether, ultimately, if it's gone through consultation process and we look at the pros and cons of an alternative location, which has been identified as being necessary due to the issues at Narrabut, then that will inform a later decision. So I'm happy to move forward with this amendment. Anyone else wish to speak for or against? As there's been no speaking against, there's no right of reply. So let's vote on it, councillors. All those in favour? That's carried 7-1. Councillor Darth against. So, councillors, this now becomes a part of the... Well, this is now the substantive motion. Can I just, see that when you've got a minute? Okay, so, yep, all right, so it's just those two additions. So now councillor Muir.
Point of order, can we discuss my foreshadowed?
Yep, sure.
as well?
Yes, sure. So councillor Darth now wishes to move her amendment. We'll just have to define whether it is an amendment first. So can you just, have we got the words there? Oh, okay.
Request, so the next point, so it'll be point 4 now.
Okay.
Request the CEO further investigate potential beach access for emergency services in the Bay and bring a report back to council by the April OCM.
Councillor Darth, is that inclusive of community consultation, or are you going, is that...
Well, that would be included in the further investigation.
Okay, yep, got you. So I've just checked that text is accurate and as to what you were trying to achieve. So currently request the CEO further investigate potential beach access for emergency access in the Bay and a report to be brought back to council at the April ordinary council meeting. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do I have a councillor to second that amendment? Councillor Bell. Councillor Darth, you can now speak to your amendment.
Yeah, I just would like to put this amendment up there because I realise that the emergency access point might not be well suited in this whole concept plan, but I think it's something that we can't ignore as an issue. I'm not disagreeing at all that there's an environmental element that needs to be explored here. I also think that we need to make sure that we do investigate it thoroughly and that the environmental aspects are included in that investigation. But since April 2020, there has been a death in the water in the Bay every year. I could list them, but I won't because I'll probably get quite emotional. So I was at the local emergency management committee meeting after one of these fatalities, and it was discussed in detail the need for a different option when the boat ramp isn't usable due to seaweed or large swell. Fatalities are something that has happened twice since that meeting as well. So I'm suggesting it's not something that we as a council can ignore. We have an obligation to our community to speak to all interested parties and make sure that we support coastal access points for our volunteer surf, rescue and marine in order to try and save lives.
Thank you, councillor Darth. Councillor Bell, do you wish to speak to that amendment? No. Anyone wish to speak for or against that amendment? Yeah, councillor Kenner has a question.
Just around the timeline, my understanding was the first amendment was to come back at the January meeting, and now we're talking the April meeting for that one. How does that all fit in?
Through the chair, they will be addressed as separate issues. So we will have the concept plan that we would present to council and then look at emergency access more broadly for April.
Okay, so can I just be clear? So the first, the primary motions request the CEO to investigate options for improved service at the Narrabut boat ramp. So that's looking at that location. This amendment additionally also requests the CEO to further investigate potential beach access for emergency access in the Bay, and that will happen between now and April. So we understand that they're two different things. It's one looking at the Narrabut boat ramp, and then the other is looking at specifically a process around emergency beach access.
Sorry, and I think we've got a bit confused with all the amendments.
And just to clarify, councillors, there wasn't a time frame linked to that first amendment moved by councillor Muir and Forte. It does suggest, it just says that we're removing the proposed beach launch access point from the plan and that we have requested the CEO to investigate options for improved service at the Narrabut boat ramp. So effectively, that first motion that we've just moved hasn't doesn't talk to an emergency beach access. Are we clear about that? So councillor Darth's amendment here talks to beach access for emergency. So do I have anyone to speak against or for that amendment? Councillor Boland?
See me grimacing there. I suppose I'd say I'm reluctantly for this. It's probably something we could have a look at. It doesn't seem like there is an easy option, the one that was proposed, which received a very significant negative response. I think we've all been deluged in the last few days with a number of emails saying, you know, that don't go down this path, and we're opting. That was the particular beach access that was in the plan, so we're opting to not go with that in the plan. But there does, and also there was that concern expressed in a lot of those emails that where did this come from? It just seemed to emerge suddenly after this process had been gone through a lot of public consultation. But apparently there is some strong views that emergency beach access is required. I'd like to hear more of those views, and that will come out, I guess, in the CEO, if this is passed, doing some further investigation. Just so reluctantly for it. Just like to clarify, where in this amendment is the bay, but the project's called, it's got Gas Bay in the title, so we're not thinking about Gas Bay as the beach access. I wouldn't have thought. I think we're talking about Narrabut Prevelly Bay, I assume.
Do you wish to, administratively accept that change, councillor Darth, to be clear where is specifically we're talking about? So emergency access in Narrabut Prevelly Bay, is that what you're trying to achieve? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that the correct description
and
of
Councillor
that
Bell, are
area?
you happy to, as the seconder, you all right with that? Yep. Okay. So to be specific, we're talking the Narrabut Prevelly Bay. Okay.
Yes. So yeah, reluctantly for it. I hope that we don't spend a lot of time. Well, we probably are going to spend a lot of time now on a project that a proposal that may not have a lot of merit. May not. That's preempting, but I'm not preempting the outcome, but we've had so much negative response to it from people who are knowledgeable in the area, and so we'll see what comes of it if this is passed. So reluctantly support. I can see some other grimacing going on.
Councillor Boland. Do I have a councillor to speak for or against? Yes, Councillor Kenno.
Yeah, I'll speak for it. I guess follow on what Councillor Boland said then, yes, there has been an enormous feedback from people who don't want it there. Unfortunately, those that are supportive of it have probably read it and gone, that's great, we've needed it, and therefore they haven't felt a need to respond. So by doing this, it just opens it up a little bit longer and allows us for a little bit more feedback so we can get a better picture. I think this is the same with just about everything that we do on council. We always hear from people that don't want things, and those that are happy with what's going on don't speak loud enough sometimes. So yeah, no, I'm more than happy to support this.
Thanks, Councillor Kenno. Do I have any other councillor to speak for or against this? I'm going to speak about this amendment. I'm conflicted additionally, also, Councillor Boland. without disputing the need for beach access, for emergency access on that beach there specifically, I'm just not that comfortable with this process. But unfortunately, because that aspect of the plan wasn't, I don't feel it's had consultation. I guess this amendment allows for that consultation to occur. We may well get to the same recommendation, but it'll at least test the process of consultation with the community. I'm also acutely aware of the shifting of resources that we're now instructing the CEO to look at this, but if that's council's wish, then that's so be it. Yeah, so it's unfortunately, I think due to the significant amount of community communications that we've received since this agenda was published, I feel responsible to allow a consultation process to occur, and this amendment provides a mechanism for that, and it gives the CEO a bit of time to work through that. So yeah, I'm reluctantly going to support this amendment. Councillor Muir.
Can I just ask a question? I'm just wondering, within that amendment, it talks about the CEO to further investigate potential beach access. I'm just concerned within that there isn't an element of community consultation.
I think CEO confirmed that would involve consultation, but I'll just get her to speak to that.
Yeah, certainly as part of any investigation, we would include speaking with community members and with stakeholders.
And I suspect that will be a big consultation process, but that's what we're asking the CEO to do. Anyone else wish to speak for or against this? No. Councillor Duff, do you wish to have right of reply?
Well, I wasn't sure if I'd get one because technically you didn't.
I'm allowing you right of reply.
Okay, thank you. So the idea behind this is so that we, council, get better information, a better detailed report on what an access point would look like, the history of the advocacy efforts, which I think is lacking in the report, and then the safety and risk management, and also the impacts on the environment and how they can be mitigated by re-vegging other spots. So, in conclusion, I hope my other councillors see these points and support this amendment.
Thanks, Councillor Darth. All right, councillors, we'll put this amendment to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried 6, and myself and Councillor Muir voting against. So that becomes a part of the substantive motion. So we've now got 4 parts to the motion. Councillor Muir moves, seconded Forte. Councillor Boland has spoken. Anyone else wish to speak to this substantive motion? All right, we'll put it to the vote. Oh, sorry, Councillor Darth.
I'm not sure if it's for or against, but possibly a small comment.
I'll indulge you, yes?
Yes. I just feel that while I see that there was quite a few years' work and good community consultation done with this, I don't feel the council actually had good access to the information and full history. I feel like the community consultation report lacked clarity as to what the community were actually consulted on and what options they were, which I guess is my reasons for asking for a deferral. So I'm still feeling a little uncomfortable that the council has had any input into any of this. We did have a workshop on it like 18 months ago before it went out for community consultation. But without seeing the full feedback from the community consultation, unsure of how much of that was actually included in it. So I'm still feeling a little uncomfortable with us moving forward with this concept plan without much councillor input.
Anyone else wish to speak for or against this motion? Okay, I'll just, first of all, just recognising, I'm happy to pass this concept plan in that it is a concept plan. It has been through a bit of a process. Oh, Councillor Muir, did you?
I just wanted to, thank you, Councillor Dath. I'd like to make a comment. I do want to thank...
Sorry, just at the end, you'll get a right of reply.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's because you moved it, so yeah. You'll get a right of reply. I guess councillors really highlighting that this is a concept plan. It's a plan for the future. It's a bit of a shame, I think, that, and I don't feel completely comfortable with this, but this is where we're at. But in terms of the process and allocation of resources for the CEO, but I think from the feedback that we've received from the community, I feel, that this is the way forward. There's no denying that beach access for emergency reasons is needed in our Shire, but I think this motion allows for a more thorough process of the environmental and other aspects that haven't yet been considered, particularly around that beach access. And as I said before, I think, we'll go through this process and ultimately it'll be up to council to make a decision as to what the cost of that is. Environmentally, amenity, service to the community, it's a hard decision, but either way, that's where we're at. So, right of reply, Councillor Muir.
Well, thank you, fellow councillors, for helping us end up here. I think it's been a bit of work, but we have got somewhat there. I'd also like to thank all of the community members who did get involved and contact councillors. I think it's really important that we have a community who's engaged and who reads agendas and minutes and gets back to us. I think that's how democracy needs to work, and I guess we're showing that we respond to that and that we really do listen and care. So hopefully that comes across, that we have responded and we really are taking it with the highest consideration.
Thank you. We'll now put this to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried 7-1. Councillor Dath against. Sorry, did you have your hand up or not? Okay, so that's 4. That's carried unanimously. Carried 8, yep. Okay, councillors, we now go to item 11.2.3. This is the RFT 0126 Jindong Treaton Road conversion to culvert. Do I have a councillor to move that motion? Councillor Keno, and a seconder? Councillor Bell. Councillor Keno? Councillor Bell? Anyone else wish to speak for or against this item? No? All right, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Just to confirm, the awarded respondent will be published in the official minutes, of course. We now go to item 11.3.1, the minutes of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee from the 26th of November. I have an officer's recommendation there. Do I have a councillor to move that? Councillor Keno, and a seconder? Councillor Boland. Councillor Keno? Councillor Boland?
Yes, the only comment I'd make is that with respect to part 2 of the recommendation, there are 9 pending actions, and they are the review of our local laws, and I think we've got to be very mindful of that going forward. The law has changed. If you don't review your local laws within the appropriate timeframes, then those laws then lapse. So we don't want to be left without, for instance, a local health law. This has been pending for a long time. I think the clock is ticking towards when laws will lapse if you haven't reviewed them. So I think this is something for the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee to keep a close eye on, and for councillors as well to monitor, so that we don't, because it's new law, it's not maybe entirely clear how things would be dealt with. So if you got to that stage of not having reviewed your local laws within time, so yes, something you need to keep an eye on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. Anyone else wish to speak for or against this? No? Okay, we will put that to the vote. Councillors, all those in favour? Carried unanimously. I'm just going to move a procedural motion to change the order of business to deal with the 11.3.3 first, which is a proposal for Polacross Fields on Reserve. I'll move that, or actually, does someone wish to move that procedural motion to change the order of business? Councillor Darth and a seconder, Councillor Muir. All those in favour? Okay, let's move the order of business to deal with 11.3.3, the proposal for Polacross Fields. Councillors, we have an officer recommendation. Do I have someone to move that? Councillor Muir and Councillor Keno to second. Councillor Muir.
Yeah, I'm delighted to see this recommendation before us, and I want to thank you, Genevieve O'Connor. Thank you for presenting to us. It was great to get that context behind the club, and congratulations to all of your members and the hard work that you're doing. I think it's quite exciting to think about the sharing of resources and a potential equestrian centre and support in our area. So I commend this to my fellow councillors.
Thank you, Councillor Muir. Councillor Keno. Anyone else wish to speak for or against this item? Yes, Councillor Forte.
I think it's always a shame to see community groups get displaced for various reasons, and as a Witchy resident, I'll be a bit sad to see it go. I feel like it's formed a bit of the identity of Witchy for a long time, but good to see community groups coming together and finding solutions, so wish you luck.
Yeah, I'll just speak to this one in that I think this is a great result in terms of collaboration and sharing of a couple of organisations. It's important for the future, and I'm happy with this lease negotiations that have occurred between the Shire and the Polacross Association. Very happy to approve and move this motion. Okay, let's put it to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now procedural motion to go back to the order of business. Councillor Muir to move that. Councillor Darth to second that. All those in favour? All right, well, so we'll now go back to the order of business, and where we will consider item 11.3.2, which is the CCTV policy. So, councillors, we have, yes, Councillor Boland.
There is an officer recommendation, but I was going to move a recommendation that an amended policy that's been distributed be the policy that we adopt. I don't know whether that's covered by the officer recommendation or whether it needs a separate recommendation.
I'll just clarify that with the CEO.
Sorry. So yes, so we will need to insert your the changed wording that you're seeking to put forward.
Okay, so I think we need a mover and a seconder for that. So Councillor Boland and Councillor Darth to second that. Councillor Boland, do you wish to speak to that?
Yes. There's been a little bit of a history to get to a CCTV policy. It came up
there it is.
An audit and risk management committee, it was called then, meeting a while back, and there was an auditor's recommendation around putting CCTV in 3 places, and one of those was the library, Margaret River Library. So I was wondering at that stage what policy we had, and found out we didn't have a policy. All we had was a internal procedure about CCTV, and CCTV is an important issue. Many other councils have CCTV policies, and the agenda item actually in the discussion officer comments, there was commentary around there's a number of policies and some may focus on public, I'm just reading from it, focus on public safety while others may lean towards privacy and data protection. So the administration has had a look at various policies and drafted a policy. I've made some amendment, there's some amendments in what's before us now, probably fairly minimal from what was originally, the changes are relatively minimal now. Probably the main one is around CCTV may be installed rather than will be installed. It's a discretionary thing, and there's some guidance now in our policy about when that will be installed. So when, where, how. I think it'd be useful for us, particularly for the CEO, and one of the amendments is around the installation of CCTV will be a CEO decision, which I think it needs to be at a high level when it's being done. So we now have a policy before us if we adopt that, covering a whole range of issues, public safety, privacy, etc. So I think it'd be useful for us to have this and commend it to the council.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Boland. Councillor Duff.
Yeah, just speaking to the amendment, I agree with the amendments that Councillor Boland have put up here. Some of them may seem quite minor, but I think that wording "will to may" is actually quite significant, and I also agree that I prefer to know who will be dealing with them, and if it's the CEO instead of any authorised person, I think that's probably a better place to land. So yeah, I thank Councillor Boland for his vigilance on this policy and going through it word to word and making sure that it reflects the outcome that the Audit and Risk Management and councillors wish to have.
Thank you, Councillor Duff. Does anyone else wish to speak for or against this? Councillor Muir.
Yeah, I'll speak for it. And yeah, I just concur with the comments of Councillor Boland and Councillor Duff. I think it's really important that we do question at each point how great the need is for CCTV and just ensuring that there is a cost-benefit assessment at each point. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. I think it's important.
Thank you. Councillor Keno.
I think probably in the last 6 months I've realised the importance of CCTV and the need for it, and I think that if anybody's concerned about it, they're either doing the wrong thing or they're cheating. It's such a protection for so many people to be able to recall that evidence or know that if something does happen, you've got that there as proof. And I know myself in the last 6 months on the main street, it has changed significantly, and there are things that I wish I'd been able to capture on CCTV. That's a big one to say at this end of the day, TV. But no, I'm very supportive of this. Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Keno. Anyone else wish to speak for or against this item? I will say that I'm pleased to see us considering this, and thank you, Councillor Boland, for your due diligence around which I feel the amendments are very acceptable. So, yeah, let's put a vote to this. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Councillors, we now go to a big item, 11.3.4. Oh, sorry. We need to go back to it as a primary motion. Oh, sorry, we did move that as an amendment substantially. There's quite a few different words in there. So as it was an amendment, we'll just consider that vote that we just did as an amendment and just tie in that adopting the policy component to make sure that we're voting on a primary motion. So if no one needs to speak for or against that, it's just a formality to ensure we've handled this correctly. We'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Do you need a mover?
We had one, which was yourself and Councillor Darth. So we'll put that to the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, now, councillors, we will consider our annual report, our 2024-25 annual report. Do I have a councillor to move that? Councillor Muir, and seconded Councillor Darth. Okay, Councillor Muir, do you wish to speak to the 24-25 annual report?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Director Stevens, for sending that to us earlier to provide some extra reading. That was helpful. Thank you. But it was a great read, actually, and it's really impressive to see some of the highlights, and it's a testament to the hard work of our staff, I think, who go above and beyond. It was really great to see things like the music festival, which was something we did that was a bit unusual, and that's been really successful, and I guess the second one has been well attended too. The access and inclusion, which is really a great thing to be happening, and that I think we really aim to do effectively. So thank you to staff for that. Personally, I really love the Reading Rabbits program. My son did that, and I know in the schools it's just fantastic, and it's a wonderful way to get kids reading. So yeah, thanks again to our library, who we all love. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Muir. Councillor Darth? No? Anyone else wish to speak for or against this? Well, I'm really proud to move this, look, I think it's, as you said, Councillor Muir, a really great acknowledgement of all the work that we do here, and, you know, that make this place a beautiful place to live, and all the services that we provide. So thank you to the staff and Mel for pulling this together, and yeah, it's something we should be you know, take pride in. So, and of course, the second part of this motion, approving the annual general electors meeting, which is, that's always a fun day on the 28th of January in the chambers here. So yeah, looking forward to that. Anyone else wish to speak for or against this? We'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We now go to item 11.3.5, the Youth Employment Strategy. Do I have a councillor to move that one? Councillor Darth, and a seconder, Councillor Keno. Councillor Darth.
Yes, I'd just like to thank the administration for their work on this one, as it came up from the school children who came to our August meeting, and it's good to see that a public question was turned into an item before council and then proceeded to this. And a little disappointed, though, that there was one of the traineeships that received no applicants.
Yeah.
What one was that?
Mechanic, wasn't it?
Through the chair, can I ask Mel Stevens?
Yeah, through the chair. It was
the mechanic.
It was the technical, what was it called? Technical services trainee. So I think that speaks maybe to some improvements we might need to do in the way that we advertise and promote these traineeships, because I'm not sure if anyone would really know what a technical services trainee is. I'm not quite sure. It does sound technical. So that's, I guess, we need to improve the quality of our kind of engagement with the youth and things like that. Yep.
Yeah, so from that I can support why we've landed at these officer recommendations. There's obviously a bit more work there to do with engagement. And yeah, I do hope that it also is highlighted during the annual budget planning process, and we do have all the different directorates look at their staffing and see if that's something that they can suggest in their areas. Yeah, so I look forward to that part of the process.
Thank you, Councillor Darth. Councillor Kenoi?
Yeah, I think this is great. It's just another level that we can engage with our youth and also make sure that we have people coming through that can give input from their perspective. But it's that future planning as well, and I think that's really, really important. And we've just been through that with the Timor leavers. There's 3 years of future planning, and now we have someone else to take over. And being able to bring the kids in from the school, give them an opportunity to stay and live locally is fantastic. And we really do have some great examples of staff in the Shire already who have worked through the system, and I think it's fantastic. So yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Councillor Kenoi. Anyone else wish to speak for or against this item? Yes, Councillor Boland.
Yeah, I'd like to speak for it and just say that I think it's a really good process that this came out of a councillor for a day session.
That was the name of it.
Sorry, it wasn't that?
That was the name of it. I couldn't remember.
Oh yeah, sorry. And it clearly was of importance to the students who came along that day. And a little bit like Councillor Darth, I was a little bit disappointed to see that there wasn't an applicant for one of the positions, and then we're not going to advertise or haven't advertised the apprentice mechanic position this year. So it seems to be something that our youth are seeking. Hopefully we can provide more opportunities. I think it'd be very good for our community that we can provide these opportunities for our students coming through. So hopefully in the future we will, but good process that something came out of that day with the students, and it's come through to and it's shining a light on what we do. So it's really good to know that, and let's hope we can offer more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. I wish to speak to this. I think this is a great way of demonstrating that the Shire is, literally trying to empower youth in the workforce within the Shire. And as most of you probably know, we were awarded the runner-up of the year, employer of the year at the recent event that the Margaret River High School held as a participant in their program that allows opportunities for the youth. I'm pleased to see within the report the increase in participation from previous years. I think there was the percentage increase was great to see. And I think this motion really, notices and recognises the quality of that provision of that opportunity for students as opposed to the quantity of, allowing more positions. So really pleased to pass this in its form and looking forward to, seeing what other opportunities we can provide for the youth within the Shire. So let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Councillors, item 11.3.6, list of payments for November 25. Councillor Muir to move that and Councillor Kenoi to second it. Do you wish to speak to that, Councillor Muir? Councillor Kenoi? No? Anyone to speak for or against that? We'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Okay, the financial activity statement for October. We have an officer recommendation there. Do I have a councillor to move that? Councillor Bell and a seconder. Councillor Forte. Councillor Bell. Councillor Forte. Wow, I'm surprised. I would have thought 2 new councillors would have many, many questions. So that means that it is looking very good. So anyone else wish to speak for or against that? No, let's put that to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, Director Stevens, for your work on those 2 last items. We now have item 11.4.1. Oh, sorry, I'm a little bit emotional. In the naming decision for the Anne Shepherdson, sorry. Oh gosh, that and that we approve the naming of the courtyard in honour of that wonderful woman of our community, Anne Shepherdson. I would like to move that one, if you allow me to. Yeah, and then Councillor Forte. Councillor Forte, do you wish to speak to that?
Yeah, I'm guessing like you did, I knew Anne for most of my most of my life, I'd say. And can't really think of anyone more deserving to have naming rights to spotlight that, and I think the community would support it wholeheartedly.
Okay, I'm ready to talk now. Yeah, really pleased to honour this amazing woman that was part of our Augusta Margaret River community for such a time. She displayed so many admirable attributes like, you know, adventure, leadership, compassion. She took in and assisted so many people within the community in so many ways in her various volunteer roles. There are thousands, undoubtedly thousands of volunteer hours. I know her connection with visitors to the region was significant. You know, just a magnificent woman, and absolutely deserves wholeheartedly to have this courtyard named after her. So I'm really pleased to move this motion. Does anyone else wish to speak to this? Let's put it to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. I will. I'd like to let Lloyd know after the meeting. So just on our behalf, I'll get in contact with him. Okay. Item 12 is motions for members of which previous notice has been given. There are none. Item 13, motions for consideration at the next meeting. There are none. 14, new business of an urgent nature. I believe the CEO might have something, do you? Just joking. I think the need to have a break. Is that what it is? Yeah, okay. The need to conclude the year and for all of us to have some rest. So we'll now move to, and we don't have any business of an urgent nature. There's no confidential business, folks. So at 7:07, I'd like to close this meeting. Thank you all for your efforts this year, particularly new councillors for coming on board and learning so quickly, and your dedication to the role is admirable, and I'm really excited to have a break, but also to work together with you all and the staff. Thank you for all your work assisting us and advising us, and particular thank you to this wonderful woman here, Emma Dixon, who keeps up with the pace. She's always very organised and diligent, and we thank you so much for everything you do, including feeding us and all the wonderful things you do for us. So thank you. And I hope you all enjoy a bit of a break, and see you in 2026. Thank you.